Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today I'm going to be working on stage 3 of the Alien Xenomorph from Agora Models. You can see here the packaging and here are the parts from the last 2 stages. Packaging, my honest opinion, can leave something to be desired. The 3 is what I put on there just to identify it myself. This is the number that they put on here. No. I put the number on there so I can actually figure out which ones are which when I'm taking them out of the box. And actually I did open this, just in there, some more teeth, a couple of screws, a couple more screws, and I believe the plan is, since these are not labeled, that they will provide you the screws with each issue or stage, whichever way you want to put it. Actually, it says stage on the instructions. I've got my Kindle tablet right here for the instructions, since they don't provide them to you on a as a hard copy, which is fine with me. A little bit of detailing for the lower jawbone, more parts for the mouth mechanism, making sure there's nothing left in this bag. Sorry for the loudness of the bag as I'm handling the paper. And then a little bit of electronics. You got the motor, got a battery connection, and you got the controller card. So let me go ahead and switch pages. And the first thing we do on here, and you can see, and this is more of the spine, it'll go back here, or more of the head, it'll go back up in here. First thing we do in this issue is the same thing we did on the upper jaw when we installed these teeth. And you can also see, I've got this still taped down just to keep it in place. You can also see it's still a little bit warped. I think it will straighten itself out. You know, I used some heat on it to push it out a little bit, and I think it'll continue to straighten out as the build goes along, and especially when these pieces plug into, don't have it yet. So give me a second to get the glue and stuff, and I will go ahead. I will get this started. Okay, so I've got the teeth laid out, and not going to make the same mistake I did with the upper jaw. They're all going in the right way, and they're all metal, and you can see each one is numbered. 1 starts here, 7 ends here. They're each numbered, and the number, as I test fit each of them, the number goes to the outside of the socket. That's the best way that's the way they fit in there. So I'm going to put a little drop of glue into each of the cavities for the teeth. Teeth with cavities. Some of it's going down to the bottom, some of it's going just on the edges. And a couple of the teeth I have what appears to be a little bit too much glue on. We'll see what happens. As I fit them, I made sure that they all fit to the outside, the number to the outside. They are tiny. Yeah, see that? 2 has a little bit of glue on that came up over the edges. Put 3 in. Most importantly, you can't really see the glue from the outside. Number 4, there's only one place and one way number 4 could go in. Number 5. Number 6. Try not to glue yourself to the teeth. And finally, number 7. Actually got a little bit more glue on a couple of them, but wiping it off with the Q-tip should make it work okay. So then this is going to go on the bottom of the jaw. I'm going to go ahead and pause for a minute, let the glue set up, and we will put that on then. Okay, the next piece that goes on here is this muscle, not sure, let me see what it says, what it's called. 3.2 is, it just says mandible. So the mandible goes underneath here, and there's a hole there, a hole here, 2 holes on either side, and 1 more hole here. Each of these has a pin. It says to fit it, which I already did. Make sure everything fits into the holes. And unlike these side pieces, it says to put a little bit of glue into each of the holes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've got the my pin vise, the glue. I'm not going to do like I did before, which was just drop a bunch in there, end up having to clean it out. So let me put a little bit in here. We'll start with the front here. Put that one in, and see I used the pin vise with a straight pin with the head cut off to pick up the glue and put it into the hole. Minimizes the amount of glue, works really well. So I'm going to go ahead and do the second one over here. And I'm going to do these 2 on the sides before I do any of the others, because the others are a little bit easier to get to. These ones on the sides, as I've been popping in the ones on the bottom of the jaw, these have been popping out. One thing to make sure, because I've seen people have some issues with the build, make sure, and this is the best time because these pieces on the sides did not have any glue applied to them yet, but make sure that your glue is actually going to hold the pieces. Later on, the skin, I've watched a couple of videos where the skin keeps popping off or coming apart because the glue does not catch. Let me get this one in here. There we go. So I'm going to let these 3 set up to take care of these bottom 4, and I will be back. Okay, so they're all glued. These, like I said before, these ones are not yet, and that one just came loose. They're sticking for the most part. I don't think anything's actually going to be torquing on them, so that they should be fine, even if they don't stick. Let me put that back on there. And it could be just the holes are holding them. But if need be, I will try some other glue if they keep popping out. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. Now take the retractable jaw, which moves back and forth like that. And it's got it this direction, actually this direction. And you take the motor, and you can see the plus sign shaped socket there. You take this motor, get this untwisted, straighten out the cable, and you use 2 of the black screws. Let me see, it says 3/16. 16 there are only 3 of. So these, and they're longer screws. These are going into plastic. Did I just lose it? No, it's still in the package. These are going to be going into plastic. They're a little bit different than the black screws I got last time. Go ahead and pop that one in there. Get the proper screwdriver. Of course, always the last one that you pick. And it's always going to be that way because the last one is, you don't start or keep looking for it after that. And so you got to make sure that that little T shape fits into the socket. Might have to rotate the motor a little bit, if it'll rotate. And then, let me see. A little bit tricky to line up because you can't really see it while you're doing it. This is a little bit more fiddly than I expected it to be. There we go. Got it to pop in. And then you take a screw and put it through the tabs on the outside of the motor. You get one started, then I'll do the other one. And attach the motor to the gearbox. And since this is plastic, being held onto plastic, do not over torque these screws. You'll strip them out. Let me see. Nope, it is not moving without me plugging it up. So this then sits into here. I'm looking how it goes. It's going to go in here like this. Didn't even realize that part was there. I'm going to go on here like this. Just making sure there are little sockets. There we go. There's little posts down inside there that, and sockets on the back side of these. You go ahead and get these screws out. They're not playing nice. Got a pair of scissors here. Well, I just shot back about 50 years of my childhood to, I think it was Romper Room, where the girl on the show always pronounced it as skizzers because that's the way they're spelled. I'll be right back. Let me get these screws in. Well, here, let me walk you through what's going to go on. So after these go on there, and you can see there are sockets in the bottom here. After these 4 screws go in, this part here is going to go in and lock it down, make it captive so that the motor cannot come out at all. And then that should be the other end of this part, except for I think we're testing it in this issue. So I will be back after I get that done. Just read the instructions real quick. And by the way, this one of the sockets wasn't popping down. When I put the screw in, it popped it in place. And it says to note the H shape that goes down. So that's important to make sure that goes down, because otherwise you could put it on the other way and think these are sockets for the screws to go into. So like I said, goes in just like that. We get those screws in and we'll be back. Okay, that's in place. You got 4 screws in the bottom here, 4 screws in the top, and this is free to move. So the next thing we do is set this apart out of the way. Take the skull and the rest of the skull, the upper, let's see, take the skull assembly constructed in stage 1 and the upper middle skull, lay them together upside down on the workbench. You'll see there's a couple of sockets there, match up with these pins here. So this is going to fit on here. Making sure I've got both pins in like that. And then a couple of the 15 screws that we got in this issue are going to go in there. And you can see that the socket itself for the screw is recessed. Got that one started. We get this one going. This kind of starts to show you the size of the head, how big the head's going to be. This is just remember, this is actually going to be a 4-foot tall figure when it's done, which is going to go along nicely with the rest of them that I've got. Got to finish Iron Man still. After Iron Man, I've got this one. I've also got the RoboCop coming. Okay, so after that, that's when we fit this part here into there. I'm just looking. Okay, so we've got 4 sockets here with holes all the way through, and then in the clear plastic you can see 4 towers there with screw holes in them, and that is how this is going to fit in there. So let me go ahead and fit it, and then I will go off camera. I'll go ahead and put the screws in. Yeah, this is going to be done off camera. It's a little bit fiddly, but I'll put the screws in and come back and show you how it looks. Okay, so that's in there. I actually cheated a little bit. I ran the extended jaw back in all the way. So now this part of the skull is done. We've got the battery cable and the circuit board for later, and we got the lower jaw to put together as well. So it's going along pretty good. Pretty good build. Waiting to see how things are going to be with the skin, because I've heard that can be a nightmare. But not bad. I'm looking forward to more work on this. I've got lots of stages, so you can expect quite a few videos on it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you do. Leave comments if you have any. And we will see you on the next video. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And catch you later.